If you talk to yourself and feel lonely, you're probably highly intelligent. If you talk to yourself when you're alone, feel lonely even when you're surrounded by people, and spend a lot of time thinking about life, this isn't something to be embarrassed about. Psychology suggests this combination often belongs to people with deep emotional awareness and a highly developed inner world. What many misunderstand as isolation or odd behavior is often a sign of inner strength. From a young age, most people are taught to look outward for answers, to seek reassurance, approval, and guidance from others. But some people grow up learning something different. They learn to turn inward. They learn to sit with their thoughts. They learn to speak to themselves because no one else is always available to listen. Talking to yourself is one of the most misunderstood behaviors in modern society. It's often dismissed as strange, unhealthy, or a sign of confusion. But psychology shows that self-directed speech is actually a powerful cognitive and emotional tool. It helps regulate emotions, organize thoughts, and create meaning out of experience. When you talk to yourself, you're not losing control of your thoughts. You're slowing them down. You're giving your mind a structure to work within. Research indicates that language plays a crucial role in how the brain processes emotion. When feelings remain vague and unspoken, they tend to feel overwhelming. When they're put into words, they become manageable. For many people, this habit develops early. Maybe you grew up in an environment where emotions weren't openly discussed. Maybe you learned quickly that you had to make sense of things on your own. Instead of being guided through feelings, you internalized the process. You became your own interpreter. Over time, that inner voice became familiar, reliable. It helped you navigate confusion, disappointment, and uncertainty. It reminded you to keep going when things felt heavy. Psychology shows that this kind of inner dialogue is closely linked to self-regulation and resilience. But along with this inner strength often comes a sense of loneliness. Not the obvious kind, not just being physically alone. This is a quieter loneliness. The kind that shows up even in crowds. The kind that comes from feeling different rather than disconnected. Research suggests that emotionally intelligent people often experience loneliness because they process the world more deeply than those around them. You notice subtle shifts in energy, changes in tone, emotional undercurrents that others overlook. You sense when something is off, even if no one says it out loud. This heightened awareness makes shallow interactions feel unsatisfying. Small talk feels draining. Conversations that stay on the surface feel incomplete. You crave depth, honesty, and meaning. When those things are missing, your mind naturally turns inward. Talking to yourself becomes a way to process what can't always be shared. You replay conversations. You examine moments that linger in your mind. You ask yourself why something affected you so strongly. Psychology refers to this as reflective processing, and it's a core feature of emotional intelligence. Reflective people don't rush their reactions. They pause. They observe their internal response before acting on it. This pause is powerful. It allows you to respond thoughtfully instead of impulsively. It protects relationships. It protects your sense of self. But this depth comes at a cost. Constant emotional processing can be mentally exhausting. Research shows that people who think deeply need more recovery time. That's why solitude feels necessary to you. Silence isn't empty. It's restorative. Research suggests that emotionally intelligent people often experience loneliness because they process the world more deeply than those around them. You notice subtle shifts in energy, changes in tone, emotional undercurrents that others overlook. You sense when something is off, even if no one says it out loud. This heightened awareness makes shallow interactions feel unsatisfying. Small talk feels draining. Conversations that stay on the surface feel incomplete. You crave depth, honesty, and meaning. When those things are missing, your mind naturally turns inward. Talking to yourself becomes a way to process what can't always be shared. You replay conversations. You examine moments that linger in your mind. You ask yourself why something affected you so strongly. Psychology refers to this as reflective processing, and it's a core feature of emotional intelligence. Reflective people don't rush their reactions. They pause. They observe their internal response before acting on it. This pause is powerful. It allows you to respond thoughtfully instead of impulsively. It protects relationships. It protects your sense of self. But this depth comes at a cost. Constant emotional processing can be mentally exhausting. Research shows that people who think deeply need more recovery time. That's why solitude feels necessary to you. Silence isn't empty. It's restorative. When you're alone, your inner voice becomes clearer. You might speak thoughts out loud or internally. You might say things like, "That hurt more than I expected," or "I need time to process this." This isn't weakness. This is emotional self-support. Psychology shows that supportive self-talk reduces stress and increases emotional stability. When you reassure yourself, you're calming your nervous system. You're reminding your brain that you're safe. Over time, this builds resilience. Instead of collapsing under pressure, you learn to sit with discomfort. You don't avoid difficult emotions. You work through them. This ability is rare, and it's one of the strongest indicators of emotional maturity. However, this strength often goes unnoticed. People may see you as quiet, reserved, or distant. They don't realize how active your inner world is, how much thinking, feeling, and processing happens beneath the surface. Emotionally intelligent people often feel misunderstood because their struggles aren't loud. You don't always express pain outwardly. You carry it inward, working through it privately. Psychology shows that this internal coping style is common among introspective individuals. There's also a strong connection between self-talk and empathy. When you spend time understanding your own emotions, you become better at recognizing them in others. You notice subtle signs of discomfort. You sense emotional shifts before they're spoken. This makes you compassionate, but it can also make you tired. You absorb more emotional information than most people. That's why alone time becomes essential. It's not avoidance, it's recovery. Talking to yourself becomes part of that recovery. It's how you release emotional pressure. It's how you make sense of what you've absorbed. Research indicates that verbalizing thoughts, even when alone, reduces mental load and emotional tension. Creativity often grows here as well. Psychology shows that inner dialogue supports imagination, problem solving, and abstract thinking. When you talk ideas through, you explore possibilities without judgment. This is why many writers, thinkers, and creatives speak to themselves. They're shaping raw thought into meaning. Your inner world is rich because you've spent time cultivating it. While others may rely on constant stimulation, you've learned to sit with your mind. That ability gives you insight, depth, and originality. Still, the most important aspect of self-talk isn't frequency, it's tone. Psychology makes a clear distinction between supportive self-talk and harsh self-criticism. Supportive self-talk builds confidence and emotional safety. Harsh self-talk does the opposite. Emotionally intelligent people tend to guide themselves gently. Instead of saying, "I'm a failure," you say, "I made a mistake, and I can learn from it." That shift matters. It keeps your inner voice from becoming an enemy. If you've ever felt lonely because no one seems to fully understand how your mind works, know this: you're not alone in that experience. Research shows that many introspective people feel this way at different points in life. This doesn't mean you're meant to be isolated forever. It means you need connections that value depth, honesty, and emotional awareness. When you find those connections, conversation feels natural. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to shrink. The goal isn't to silence your inner voice or force constant social interaction. The goal is balance. Use your inner world as a foundation, not a wall. Let it support you, not separate you. Loneliness, in this context, isn't a flaw. It's often a signal that you need meaningful connection, not more noise. It's your mind reminding you that depth matters. So, if you talk to yourself, feel lonely at times, and think deeply about life, recognize this for what it is. It's emotional intelligence learning how to exist in a fast, noisy world. It's a mind that reflects instead of reacts. You are not broken. You are not strange. You are inwardly strong. And if this resonated with you, you're exactly the kind of person this space is for. Subscribe for more calm, reflective psychology insights that help you understand yourself more deeply, one thought at a time.